Hey everybody, welcome to the Creativity Cave. I'm so excited that you're here stamping with me today, and I have a beautiful project to share with you. This is the Reason for the Season stamp set and the coordinating Festive Flower Builder Punch that I used to create this gorgeous vellum poinsettia. So let me show you how I did this. It's really pretty easy. It just takes a few steps. So first of all, I'm going to take some vellum cardstock that we have in the catalog. Here's just a scrap piece that I've got. And here is my Festive Flower Board Builder Punch. That's a mouthful, isn't it? And I'm just going to punch this. And what I do is punch 8 of the biggest and medium, and then 2 of the small double one. And then this is the center that we'll use. I used it on the silver glimmer paper. So those are the number of pieces you need. Now I've gone ahead and done that, of course. And actually I'm going to set down a piece of darker cardstock so you can see this a little easier, because since it's vellum, it's a little hard to see. So I've gone ahead and punched all of these, and I stamped them in white ink, and then I needed to let them dry. You know, it takes a little longer than if you were to just stamp them on regular cardstock. So it does, I left them sit for an hour while my kids were at a lesson. And right now we're all hunkered down in the stamp room because there is a tornado going through our area. I think we're in the clear now, but that's kind of interesting for November. Anyway, so let me get back to my project. What I'm going to do to put all of these pieces together is I'm going to start with a 1 3/4 inch circle, and it doesn't matter if it's that size or something similar, a little bigger, smaller, but I like to fold this in half. And the reason I do that is so I get a feel for where I'm at with this. I'm also going to take a 1/2 inch circle that I punched in the same vellum, and using a glue dot, I'll attach it to the center of my bigger vellum circle. Now this is done so that I can figure out where the center of this is, so that I can build my flower nice and evenly, and it gives me a nice circular flower versus kind of an long, weird shaped flower. Okay, so to do that next, or the next step in this process is I'm going to take some fast fuse, and actually I'm going to bring in another piece of cardstock again so you can see this. Actually, I shouldn't use this one because I'm putting, that's the piece for my card. But here we go. So what I'm going to do is take some fast fuse and just kind of cover the background of my circle. I don't need the little circle covered. That is actually just used as a place marker, and it helps me evenly space the petals that I'm going to adhere. So now I've got adhesive all over this, and it's pretty good and sticky. That fast fuse really works. And I want to start by putting my first petal so that the spine of the leaf, if you will, or petal, is right on that fold line. And then I will do the other side opposite of it. And what I've done now is I have a 1/2 inch in between the two, and these are directly across from each other, so they're evenly spaced and they are nice and straight across. Then I'm going to do the same thing going this way. Now you might wonder why I didn't keep folding it. And I think once you start with a good placement, then it's easier to position the rest of them. So you can see I'm just adding these, and I want the edge of my petal to go right up to the edge of my circle. Okay, and when I stamped this, by the way, in white, let me grab the stamp. Here it is. And actually I will stamp one for you so you can see what I did. So there's 3 petals. I used the medium-sized one. The smaller one is the double one. But what I wanted to do when I inked this up is I wanted to use First of all, I wanted the pointier end of my petal, you can see this one's a little pointier, to be facing out so that this is the inside, the center. And then on here, this is where the base of my petal stamp should go. So in other words, I knocked off this last two veins. And the reason is because I use this, let's see, I'm doing this a little awkwardly through my camera, but there we go. So you can see if I would have stamped those two extra ones, the veins would have been right up to the tip, and I think that looks a little goofy. That's just my personal preference though. So, okay, so back to my petals. Now I'm going to then go in between, and I always am going to go directly across from the petal that I just placed. Okay, that way it gives me, it gives me a nice even distribution of the petals going around. And then of course my spacer makes sure that they're all in the same position relative to one another. And by the way, if you place this circle and it's not dead center on your bigger circle, that's okay, as long as you're using it as your guide, because then if it's off, they'll still be perfectly even going around the circle. Okay, so there's my base. Isn't that beautiful? So far, so good. Now you might be thinking you can see the bigger circle. Don't worry, because we have another row of these to go. Okay, next I want to bring in this smaller piece right here, and I stamped those just like this. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so I stamped those as well, and of course I can't see where they went to because my table is white, but I just started and crisscrossed the first two. I can't find them. So we'll just punch one more. One thing I love about this punch is it is a fantastic way to use up, oh, here they are. It's a fantastic way to use up scrap paper that I'm sure you have laying around. Okay, so now I've got my base layer. Now I'm going to do the top part, and I'll take this piece here and place the glue dot right in the center, and then I will affix it perpendicular to the other one. Okay, and again, if these aren't perfect, it's okay, because you're going to put the little center right on top to cover anything up. So there's that. And by the way, I didn't mention this earlier, but with all my petals, I kind of curved them up a little bit. I just pinched those edges. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it gives you a nice dimensional flower, or instead of a completely flat one. Okay, and then I am going to take my smaller petals. I'm going to work with those, and I am going to evenly space those around my first two petals that I just put together, those double petals. So I'm going to set right side down onto my glue dot here, and I find if you do them all at once, it's nice and easy, because then you can just pull them off. And then now I'm going to pull these off and place them one by one, again always going in between directly across, just like I did before. And when I've got the first four, then I'm going to go ahead and do in between again, just like so. Now, I am not a poinsettia aficionado. I have no idea how many petals there are in one, but when I use 8 of the large and 8 of the medium, I get a nice full looking poinsettia. That doesn't mean that's how many there are in a real one, but I tend to not care too much about that. Okay, so now to take and put these two pieces together, I'm going to use a dimensional, which I have to grab from behind me, and just put that dimensional in the center, and then this just goes right on top. You can kind of space it however you'd like, And then last but not least, I have 2 of my X's that I glue dotted together, curled up a little bit, and then I will glue dot right to the center of this. Now on my sample, you can see I have a couple of green leaves. So I've taken those and stamped them with the larger leaf stamp, and again I'll attach those with my glue dots. Now I am super excited to show you what I'm going to do with this. And I have my card, of course, which is beautiful, but I also have a couple of other places where I think this would be really pretty. Okay, so look at how gorgeous that is. Okay, so I took my card and I thought, well, another idea would be to use just a plain tin. This is great for giving a gift card or money in. And I used just a strip of 3" by 12" printed paper, and voila, set it right on there. You could add a tag or something as well. Then I also have a picture frame, and this is just like my card, but a little larger. This is a 5 by 7. And what if I stuck this right on here like so? Oh my gosh, it's just so beautiful, and this would look great on an end table or somewhere, you know, decorated in your house. Then one more thing I want to show you on my card. You can see I have this pretty line. Let me show you how I did that quickly. I'm going to pull in my Simply Scored board, and my card is basically 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So what I want is about a 1/4 inch border going all the way around. So I like to use the wider end of my stylus when I do this, and I'm going to go a 1/4 inch down and a 1/4 inch over to start. You have to bear with me because my camera is in the way as I do this. But then I will leave a 1/4 inch at the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this and do the same thing. I find when you start and move in the same place, it's easier to get nice, even, uniform lines. Okay, so again, I'm doing this on all sides, and then when I'm done, I'm going to flip it over, and I will have a beautiful border raised edge. Awesome. Well, please go to my blog at thecreativitykave.com. The link will be posted in the description of this video, and check out all these beautiful projects. Thank you so much for stamping with me today. Have an awesome day.